Welcome back to the homestead. I'll show you guys how much rain the rain collector collected. We have, well, it's completely full, but I did add some extra water, but I only added an extra couple cupfuls, so we've ended up with a total of 55 gallons in this. That almost all the way full. This one almost all the way full to the line. We have a muddy water one that sort of is about halfway full. The dog's been drinking out of it. It was more full. This one that's 3/4 full, I'd say. Well, no, 2/3 full. And then the one on the bottom that's completely full. We also have 2 rain collectors in the second garden that have about 3 or 4 inches in the bottom of each of them. And I think that's all the water. There is water scattered around, like collected in the lids and like some pots and stuff, so I do need to go through and like dump those all out into other buckets. I'm gonna go through, prune the tomatoes one final time before I just leave them to grow, basically. And then yeah, so I'm gonna prune the tomatoes one final time, and then I'm gonna fertilize them and give them like their aspirin treatment. And then after I've done that, I'm actually also going to be burying the stems probably about to here, because these little fuzzies on the stems of tomatoes are actually opportunistic roots. So any of those that touch soil will turn into roots. Let me see if I can see them on here where I buried it before. Yeah, you can kind of see one down there. It's a little white thing. And that's a root that started growing from the stem. So we're going to do that. So when I prune the tomatoes, what I do is I cut off these lower branches, because any branches that touch the soil are prone to disease. And once one branch gets sick, it starts spreading like wildfire. So I cut off the lower branches so they don't get splashed back from the ground. And then I also, when you look at the tomatoes, you'll see that between each branch are these little flimsy branches. Those don't really amount to much, and in some cases they don't even grow anything at all. So I just pull those off. And then that leaves the plant energy to put more effort into growing these main branches, which are where a lot of your tomatoes are going to come from. It's funny, the marigolds that are doing the best are the ones that, the sad little ones, those little sprouts I planted a long time ago from seed, basically. Because the ones I bought from the store are shriveling up from the heat. So I guess these ones have just gotten used to the heat since they've had it since pretty much the beginning. Our baby apple is getting its first 2 leaves. I'm so excited. Once they're grown in, I'll put it with the other 2. So some of the tomatoes are actually starting to grow little flower buds. On some of them though, such as these ones, the Costoluto Florentinos, I've actually pulled those off because I want those plants to get a little bit bigger before they start spending all their energy growing flowers and fruit and stuff. Because once they start growing those, that's pretty much where all of their energy goes. On this one, I'm leaving it, but these 2 actually also have flowers, and I will be pulling those flowers off, because since these 2 are sharing a bed, I do want them to spend a little bit of more energy developing their root systems. So I will be pulling those off. With these guys, I'm not too worried about them because they're super prolific producers. They are a indeterminate species, which means they pretty much just keep growing until they die. These ones, I don't know if they're determinate or indeterminate, so hopefully me cutting those flowers off is not going to mean I don't get any tomatoes this year. I've just mixed up some fertilizer and calcium. It's the organic Miracle-Gro water-soluble fertilizer for vegetables, and then Rot Stop calcium, concentrated calcium liquid, which I got for about $10, but I'm sure you could get it cheaper. I just buy everything from small businesses, so sometimes they're a little bit more expensive. But that's fine. I like supporting the local businesses. But I'm just going to go around and give all the plants a little bit of that just to help them out, since I just cut off a bunch of their branches. When I water tomatoes, I try to be sure not to water straight on the leaves, because tomatoes do not like it when their leaves get wet. So it's a lot easier with these big ones, especially since I've gone and cut most of the bottom branches off. But when you have little tiny ones, like my little Roma over there, it's a little bit harder, and you kind of just have to flood the area around it instead of actually watering it. And now that I've fertilized, I am going to spray all of the tomatoes with the aspirin spray, and then I'm going to spray all of the plants with the soap spray, which I've actually added capsaicin to, because a lot of insects do not like capsaicin. And how I did that was I literally bought pepper spray and sprayed it into the bottle. So yes, every single time I spray it, it makes me cough because there's pepper spray everywhere. The tomatoes are done for the day, and tomorrow I'm probably going to work on hanging up their ropes to let them climb up, because they're starting to get too tall to stand on their own. And then I need to cut all this grass and weed out any of the beds that need it. I'm also going to work on tying these squash up to the trellis so that they're not climbing everywhere. I've been thinking about it, I might actually build another 6-foot kind of cage here and turn that into like a squash trellis slash archway. Do this. Staring at me with your weird smile. Good morning. I said yesterday was July 3rd, but I was wrong. Today is July 3rd. So I have 3 things I want to do today. First, I'm going to be making a stepping stone with Babu's footprints in it. Then I'm going to be trying to get some of the windows out of that old RV, because we can use them next year for the greenhouse when we build it, because we're building a hard-sided greenhouse. And then I want to also plant the raspberry bushes, which my grandma brought, because we dug those up at the same time we dug those strawberries up, and they're in the condition they need to be replanted. Babu has a sling now. We bought it at a thrift store. So she always sticks her little arm out like that, her little chicken wing. I don't know why. We also need to hang up some twine from the trellis. We've been looking at these snow peas, and they don't have any pods yet. So we're actually wondering if maybe they are sterile, because the seeds I planted were very, very old, and sometimes... Oh, wait, no. Is that a pod? No, it's a leaf. So the seeds we planted were very, very old, and sometimes, even if a plant grows from them, they won't have any seeds or anything, so we might not get pods. But that's okay, because peas are really high in nitrogen, so if they don't grow any peas, I'll just compost the plants, and that will add a lot of nitrogen to my my compost. These yellow zucchinis are actually starting to turn green, so I guess the older they get, the greener they turn. I fertilized them last night because they were starting to get signs of magnesium deficiency. I added too much water to Babu's footprint one, so it's starting to disappear, but I'm hoping it dries before it completely disappears, because getting Babu to put her foot in things is impossible. That's why her nails are so long, because she freaks out, and we have to pay someone to cut them. But everything's closed because of coronavirus. Oh. I'm gonna use this twine to hang up on the trellis. our shade thing isn't even shading the salad, so we're gonna have to figure something else out for that. There wasn't enough string for all of them, but there was enough for the biggest tomatoes. So I've connected the twine with these little plastic tomato trellis hooks. They're a little bit small for the a little bit big for the tomatoes that I have currently, because my tomatoes are still quite small. So what I did was I made sure to put them just underneath a branch so that the branch would keep it from sliding up. I've been out collecting conjoined twin daisies, so I have 3 that I've found so far. This was the first one. It's a little infinity one. And it curves on the side because it's 2 daisies together. And then this was the second one, which is the one that's most obviously a conjoined twin, because you can just see the 2 completely different daisies growing together. And that one's just a wide bottom. And then the last one is a lot more subtle. The only reason I know it's a conjoined twin is because it has way too many petals on the right side. Are you in your sunspot? You look like the saddest bamboo on the planet. Oh no, you just look like a doofus. I just bought this jar here, and I'm actually going to make it a new seal around the edge because the one it had smelled like potpourri, and no matter what I did, the smell wouldn't come out. So instead of having an annoying loose clacky jar, I'm going to mix silicone and cornstarch together, and that'll make like almost like a putty that I can put around there and make a new jar seal with. And now it just has to dry. I still have this big ball of it left, but I have no idea what I'm gonna do with it. I probably won't think of something until after it's already dry. This is literally just the world's most symmetrical daisy. This one's close, but not quite. I've collected 3 more conjoined twins. I don't know which ones are the new ones and which ones aren't. I just know I have 6 now. And I also have our symmetrical boy and this one. This one's pretty funny. It's like a normal sized middle with little baby leaves, and then this one long leaf. It's a little Finding Nemo flower. The dandelion pile grows, and so does the rose pile. It is July 9th or 10th, I don't actually remember which. And today we're going to be painting a bench, and that's pretty much it. I've been steadily amassing straight pieces of wood to build a fence out of. There's a few more I need to go and collect, so I don't actually know how many there are yet. Look at this doofus go. I'm shocked you can even reach it. What are you doing? You have water. You have water. You're silly. Yeah. Let me get you a cup of water, and then you don't have to work as hard. My favorite daisies are the ones that have the ridiculous round middle normal daisy. Regular one, it's like ½ an inch. I like it. I think they're funny. Oh, this one's extra ridiculous. That one's probably 3/4 of an inch. And now I have to remove all of this shiny finish off with this brush, which is taking forever. But we can't paint right on the shiny stuff because it'll just scratch off as soon as you try to use the bench. So I'm just gonna sit here and keep doing that.